Hi everyone, so welcome to the lesson of Monday. So this is going to be a lesson for 27th of April. Okay, so as you know, we just have to discuss this, but wait. From tomorrow, you will be of course doing revision. So wait till the end of the video. I've got a message to tell you. But before we go on to that part, let's quickly discuss the homework for yesterday. So this is going to be only homework, fine. So what I observed in all these questions are they're quite different from the questions which we solved in the textbook pages, because this needs a bit of extra thinking because they are very different. They have given us fractions and they have given you different kinds of questions. So let's go through and see how you have done and whether the answers you've got is correct or not. Okay, so first write the equation of each line in the given form. So this is going to be a horizontal line. So the basic word here is horizontal. Horizontal means it's a sleeping line through 3, 7 in the point slope form. So when they say through 3, 7 means this line is touching 3, 7. The coordinate 3, 7, it's been touching. So always first you just in your mind create an image how the graph will look like. Okay, it's a horizontal line. Horizontal means it's a complete straight line and it is but passing through 3, 7. And you have to write that in point slope form. So to write the formula in point slope form, what are the things we need? We need the value of y1, okay, equals, and the main thing we need here is the slope, which they did not give us. So we need to be finding the slope. But y1 and x1, we can use this coordinate to write y1 and x1. So first, before I show you that, let me show you how this picture of this thing will look like. They said the line passes through 3, 7. So this is going to be 3, 7. And they said it's a horizontal line. So horizontal line is something like that, right? So which means the slope, we don't need to find the slope for this. The slope for this is going to be what? The slope for a horizontal line is always 0. We don't need to calculate, for a horizontal line the slope is going to be 0. That's why I drew this picture so that it will be clear for you. Okay, so when they said the point a line passes through 3, 7 and it is a horizontal one, this is how your line looks like. So the slope for this line is going to be a 0. So now with that we know the slope is 0, can we write the point slope form? So let's write it. Y is supposed to be y minus 7 because y1 is 7 equals, the slope is 0. So wait, I'll show you what you need to be doing. X minus x1 is 3. Okay, now once you calculate this, as we also discussed yesterday, when the slope is 0 means however you solve it, the final answer is going to be 0 because you multiply any number by 0, the answer is going to be 0. So there is no point in for us writing x minus 3 because even if you simplify this, you're going to get 0x and 0, which means it's 0. So to further simplify this point slope form, we need to be writing our answer as y minus 7 equals 0, which means it's clearly understood the slope is 0, the value of x1 can be something, but they need the answer in point slope form. So this is going to be the point slope form for you. Okay, now question number 2 is a more easier one because they have given us the slope and also they have given us x1 and y1. So we just have to put that in this formula, that's it. So y we don't know. Y1 is going to be minus 5, but minus into minus, that will give you a positive 5, right? Equals, the slope is going to be negative 8 over 5. X1 we don't know, and x we don't know, and x1 is going to be 1. So your answer has to be y plus 5 equals negative 8 over 5, and in parenthesis x minus 1. Okay, so let's move on to question number 3. Now in question number 3, yes, it will be a bit confusing because of these. Okay, so how are you going to be doing this? The line through negative half and negative 7 over 2 and 2 and 14. Now I know when we were doing in the class, some of you were feeling comfortable by changing these into decimals. Okay, now if you're comfortable in that way, you can change them to decimals and you can go ahead and do it. So if you change this to decimal, that's going to be a negative 0.5 and it's going to be negative 3.5. Negative 0.5, negative 3.5. Else, you can simply do it by using the same, what do you call, the same fractions. So let me show you how you need to be doing it using fractions. Here they are not allowing me to edit this document by using fractions. So I'll show you in another screen what you need to be doing. This is if you are using fractions. If you are not using, fine, it doesn't matter. Finally, the answer we are going to get is going to be the same. Okay, so first we need to be finding the slope. So m is equal to, let me make it a bit bigger. So we are going to find m. So as we know, the two coordinates were negative 7.5, negative half, and negative 7/2. So if you put them in this formula, that's going to be, okay, that's going to give you a negative 14 because y2 was 14. Okay, the coordinates of y2 minus y1, which is going to be negative 7/2. So negative into negative will again of course give you positive 7/2. Okay, now this is going to be divided by x2 minus x1. Right, now again as expected, it's going to be, I don't know where is this equation. I thought, okay, let me try to edit it here itself. So y2 is going to be, y2 is going to be 2 minus y1 is negative half. So, sorry, x1 is negative half. So negative into negative will again give you positive 1/2. Okay, so this is how your formula for now is going to look like. So once you solve it, of course, you know it's going to be a bit different. Okay, so oops, anyhow, the line has, the dividing line has to be between these two. I don't know, something went wrong, I cannot get it. So let's solve this. Now to solve this, there is an easy way to do it. Just change this into a mixed number. So 7/2, if you divide into a mixed number, that's going to give you 3.5. 7 divided by 2 is 3, remainder is 1. So 7/2, let me do that also. I know most of you will not understand what I'm talking now. Just let me change this into a mixed number. So 7/2, okay, 7/2. If you change this into a mixed number, that is, if you divide 7 by 2, you will get the quotient as 3, because 2 divided by 3 is 6, and the remainder as 1, and the denominator is going to be 3.5. So basically this is going to be 3.5. So 14 plus 3.5 is going to give you how much? That's going to give you 14 plus 3 is 17. 17 plus half is going to give you 17.5. Going to be equal to 17.5. Okay, so 14 plus 3/3 half is going to give you 17.5. Similarly, 2 plus half, 2 plus half is going to give you how much? This is simple math. So 2 plus half is going to give you equals 2.5. Okay, so finally your answer, that's the slope. Still we did not find the slope because you have to divide 17.5 by 2.5. Now how are you going to divide 17.5 by 2.5? I know it's a bit lengthy question, but so let's divide 17.5. 17.5 divided by 3.5. 3.5. Okay, so as you know, you cannot divide when you have mixed numbers like this, you have to change them to improper fractions and then use KCF. I told you it's a bit lengthy one, but so let's change this to improper fraction first. How do you change this to improper fraction? 2 multiply 17 is going to give you 34. 34 plus 1 is going to give you 35. So your answer is going to be for this 35 over 2. So 35 over 2. Then again divided by 2 3s are 6. 6 plus 1 is going to give you 7 over 2. Fine. So as you know, we cannot do divide in fractions. Of course, you have to be doing KCF. Now, once you do KCF, you're going to keep the first one the same. I'll just do it here. I don't want to waste time by moving these things here and there. So 35 is going to remain the same, 35 over 2. The divide will change to multiply, and 2 over 7 will 7 over 2 will become 2 over 7. Now simply you can cancel them. 2 by 2, 2 and 2 will go away, right? 2 you can cancel, and 35 you can cancel with 2, so that will give you a 5, which means 35, which means 17 and a half divided by 3 and a half is going to give you 5. Okay, or if you want to do the other way, you can do 2 35s are 70, 7 2s are 14, so 70 divided by 14 will also give you 5. 70 over 14. Okay, so that's also going to give you a 5. So the slope, this is all for the slope. I don't know why this many steps, but this was all for the slope. Now that we have found the slope is 5, so we can put that back in the formula. So slope for this is 5. Fine. So we need it to be written in slope intercept form. Okay, now again we need to find the y-intercept. So to find the y-intercept, of course, I'm not going to use the fractions, I'll be using this. So to find the y-intercept, I'll be using y is equal to mx plus b, which is going to be y is 14, okay, equals slope is 5 multiplied by x, which is 2 plus b. So once you solve this, you'll be getting the answer as 14 equals 10 plus b, which is 14 minus 10 equals b. So the y-intercept is going to be 4. Okay. Now I'm not doing each and every step because you girls are like smart enough to understand, or even if you're not smart, just follow what I said. 5 2s are 10. So when you move the 10 to the other side, that becomes a negative 10. So 14 minus 10 is equal to b. 14 minus 10 is equal to 4, which is going to be the y-intercept. So now we have the slope. So we have the y-intercept. Slope is y equals 5x plus 4. So your answer for this question has to be y is equal to 5x plus 4. 8. I think, wait. Sorry for this, girls. I think I did a mistake in the slope. Did I? Yes, I did. Okay. The mistake I did was here. Rather than writing 2.5, I don't know why I wrote this as 3.5. Now, because this whole thing is not 3.5, it's 2.5. So this is going to be 2 2s are 4 plus 1 is 5, which is going to be 5 over 2. Okay, and I'm really sorry for this thing. So you have to change this to 5 again. So that's going to be, the slope is going to be 7. Okay, because 35 divided by 5 is going to give you 7. Really very sorry for that. Fine, the slope is 7, so I will change this here also. Slope is 7, so as a result everything is going to change. So this is going to be 7, which is going to result in 14. Okay, so finally the y-intercept is going to be 0, which means this is going to change too. Now how are you going to write this? Y is equal to 7x plus b. Now the y-intercept is 0, so we don't write 7x plus 0, we leave it as y is equal to 7x. So this is going to be your slope-intercept form for question number 3. Okay, moving to question number 4. The line with x-intercept -2 and y-intercept -1 in slope-intercept form. So they have given us the x-intercept. X-intercept means when y is 0, what is x-intercept? What is y is 0, what is x? So this is one coordinate we can get from the x-intercept. And from the y-intercept, we can get the other coordinates. What is y-intercept? When x is 0, y is going to be -1. So here, okay. So these are the two coordinates we have. How did I get the coordinates? Here they said the line with x-intercept is -2. So x-intercept is -2 means y is 0, and y-intercept is -1, which means the x is going to be 0. Now using this 2, we will find the fraction. So y is going to be, sorry, m is going to be equal to y2, that's -1 minus 0 over x2 is going to be 0, right? 0 minus 2. So minus 2 will basically result in, write it properly, minus 2 will result in plus 2. Okay, now minus 1 minus 0 is going to give you a -1. Where is, what's happened? I have no idea. And 0 plus 2 is going to give you a 2. So the slope is -1 over 2, because -1 minus 0 is -1, 0 plus 2 is 2. So the slope is -1 over 2. Now that we have the slope as -1 over 2, we can find out the y-intercept. So choose any one coordinate, whether the first or the second, it doesn't matter. So let me choose the first one, -2 and 0. So y is 0 equals, we are going to put that in the y is equal to mx plus b to find out the y-intercept as we did here. So y is 0, I'm choosing this coordinate. Y is equal to m, that's -half, -1 over 2. In parentheses, x is going to be -2, okay, plus b, because we have to find the y-intercept. Now minus and minus will get cancelled, of course, and half multiplied by 2 is going to give you how much? It's going to give you 1. Now if you put it properly in the other way and check, half multiplied by 2 will give you 1. Okay, because negative and negative will get cancelled. So if you simplify this, that's going to give you 0 equals 1 plus b. You can check, -half multiplied by -2, the answer is going to be 1. Okay, now if I move the -1 to the other side, that's going to be 0 minus 1. So 0 minus 1 is going to give me -1, which is going to be the y-intercept. Oh, why did we see here already they have given us a y-intercept? I have no idea why I did this. Okay, anyways, so the y-intercept is going to be -1. Now don't be like, I have no word to even describe me. Fine, they gave the y-intercept as -1. I have no idea why I did all this. Simply you can take the answer from here. Y-intercept is -1. It's as easy as that, and you can write it in the slope-intercept form. So slope-intercept form is y is equal to m, that is going to be the slope. So slope is -1 over 2, x plus -1. So plus -1 will become -1. So this is going to be your answer. Y is equal to -half x minus 1. So the line with x-intercept, the y-intercept is -1. You don't have to really do all these things. You just have to find the slope and then use the y-intercept -1 to write the answer. Hopefully you have not done anything stupid like what I did now. Okay, so the next one is graphing each line. To graph the line, they have given you the question in point slope form. So from this point slope form, we can take the slope. Slope is going to be 3 over 4, right? You can take the slope from there, and then you can take also one of the coordinates. How are you going to take the coordinates? See, they have given you 3 and 1. 3 and 1 means it's going to be 1 and 3. The x value is going to be 1 and the y value is going to be 3. So using this, let's graph the line. So your line has to be something like this. First, let's graph the point. So the point was 1 and 3. So point is going to be 1 and 3 here. From this point, you will be using the slope, which is 3 over 4, which means a rise of 3 and a run of 4. So 1, 2, 3 is rise, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So your other point is going to be here. So use these 2 points and draw a line. That's all you have to do. Just join these 2 points. Okay, so this is going to be a line for that question. It's easy, only you have to be a little bit smart enough to find out the coordinates. This is the slope. Slope is already given. The coordinates are 3, 1 and 3. Okay, now this one, y is equal to mx plus b. It's in that form. So the slope is negative 4 over 3 and the y-intercept is 2. So y-intercept means, let's do it in the same graph. Okay, so the y-intercept was negative 2, so it's here. Y-intercept is negative 2, and the slope was negative 4 over 3. Negative 4 over 3 means it can be a fall of 4 and movement to the right of 3, or it can be a rise of 4 and go to the left 3, because anyhow left negative means either you go down or you go to the left, any one you can choose. Okay, so not to confuse you, I'll use the same way, negative 4 over 3. So it's a fall of 4, okay, and go to the right 3. So this is going to be your next point. Join it. So this is going to be your line. Okay, so this is the line. This is how you need to be getting. Now you, as you know, the slope is negative, so of course the line has to be from left corner to the right, down, pointing downwards. Okay, now quickly let me move to the next question. That is question you have to determine whether the lines are parallel, intersect, or coincide. Now again, this is in the form, not in the form y is equal to mx plus b, but as you can see now, this slope is negative, slope is 1 over 5. Okay, so when the slope is 1 over 5, and so we have to of course change this thing. So let's change this to this form. So if you change this to y is equal to mx plus b, that's going to be y is equal to m, we don't, 0, it's going to be negative x, because x will come to the other side. We have to solve it for y, in fact, plus 0. Okay, so y is equal to negative x plus 0, and you have to divide both the sides by 5, negative 5. So if you divide both the sides by negative 5, you know that we have an invisible one here, but we don't use. But because we are finding it for y is equal to mx plus b, we have to use the 1. So which means down it's going to be, in this part, it's going to be negative 1 over 5. So too much gap, but it's okay. So if you divide negative 1 by 5, so leave the slope like that, and 0 divided by 5 is going, negative 5 is going to give you a 0. Okay, so the slope is negative 1, slope is going to be positive 1 over 5, because it's both negatives, negative 1 and negative 5. So the signs will get cancelled, negative and negative. So the slope you are going to have is 1 over 5, and here also the slope is going to be 1 over 5. Now if the slope is 1 over 5, and if the y-intercepts are also the same, if you have here 0, so if you solve this also for y-intercept, okay, that's also going to give you a 0. You can take this as, I'll show you that too, so that you will not ask me questions again. So we are going to solve for y is equal to mx plus b. I can take a coordinate for this, right? This is going to be y and this is going to be x. So 5 and 1. So let me put that in the formula. 5 equals m. That's the slope is 1 over 5. 1 over 5. And x is going to be 5 again plus b. So if I solve this thing again, you are going to be getting the slope the y-intercept as b is equal to 0. Go ahead and check this and see. You will of course get the answer as b is equal to 0. Now when the slope and the y-intercept are the same, of course your lines are going to coincide. Okay, however you do, if you get the line coincide, that's fine, no problem. Okay, now moving to question number 2. Again here, they have not given us in the form y is equal to mx plus b, which is the worst thing. And again, we have to find out. Now, however you do, I don't want to make this video very long, girls. If you have any thing which you didn't understand, you can message me and ask. But if those who are smart enough will of course get this. So again, this is going to be 2y plus 2 is equal to x. So once you solve this, again you're going to be getting y is equal to 1 over 2 x minus 2. Okay, so again here, if you solve this, the slope is also going to be the same. Also the slope is going to be the same, but the y-intercepts are not going to be the same. So when they are not the same, when the slope is same, y-intercept is not the same, that is going to be intersecting. Okay, so slope is going to be half for both, but the y-intercept will be different, which means they are intersecting lines. Now for this question, again they are not in the form of that y is equal to mx plus b, but this is in the other way. So again you need to be solving this too. To y is equal to mx, you can choose this. You have to again solve it to y is equal to mx plus b form. Now once you do that, of course you will be getting your answer as intersecting. Okay, because they will have different slopes and different y-intercepts, which means your answer for this has to be intersecting lines. Hopefully this part is clear for you. Now I will try to solve this and put the steps clearly on Edmodo. Okay, so hopefully you will get the answer right if you just follow my steps. This is already in that form. You just have to open up the brackets. 4x minus 12. So y is equal to 4x minus 12. But this part you have to of course change it. So if you change it, you will get different intercepts and different slopes. That's going to be intersecting lines. Now what you will be doing from tomorrow, okay, I'll be putting a worksheet every day I'll be putting a worksheet on Edmodo, and I'll be, of course, as I'm uploading these videos, I'll be putting that. All what you have to do is you have to solve them, because in the revision videos we will be discussing the answers for those. So solving those worksheets are very important, so hopefully you will be doing it. Until I meet you in the next video, take care of yourselves and stay safe.